something, right? So if you put in gunpowder along this room in here and you just light it, is it going to explode? No. It's going to explode once you pack it into something tight, right? So I was going to say we're going to get tight like a Mexican household. We're going to pack us in and get this thing running, guys. And so if I have not met you, my name is Miguel Camargo. I'm excited that you are here this morning, early afternoon. I do encourage you, please put your phones on vibrate, silent. This event is being recorded for the sake of the speakers. We encourage you that you put your stuff on vibrate, silent. If you want to grab some food before we get started, I would encourage you to do that now. If you want to use the bathroom, do that now. But how's everyone feeling today?
Wonderful.
Everyone's feeling great? Good. You guys have your notepads ready to take some notes? So where are we at with chairs, guys? Do we need more? And don't be a stranger, guys. Leaders always sit up front. I don't know if you were ever taught that. Leaders always sit up front. Come on. Yeah. Wherever we got to put them. I appreciate our team being freaking superstars over here. There's a trash can somewhere around. Over to the right. Appreciate you. Come on. All these seats are open right here in the front? I promise you ain't nobody gonna bite you guys. Unless you into that type of stuff. You might be, come on. I do. Come on. We're live now. Hey, we're live. I don't need that TV on. So, Lindsay, can I bring you up first? A what? Yeah. Lead by example, right? Come on. All right. So as we get this guy started, I always like to start us off with the right kind of story. So this is my friend Lindsay Dabney. She is the owner and operator of the Underground, the business that you're standing in today. And this started off as a vision November of 2022. Her husband and my girlfriend Jade, we were all sitting at my kids' kitchen table, and we said, we want to go do some big things in 2023. And at that point, I made a decision. I'm only doing business with people I can do life with. And we made a decision that we're going to go do some things together, not only for the sake of making money, because who in here wants to make some money? But who in here wants to make a difference and making an impact in the community at the exact same time? Because if you think those two are not correlated, you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong room. And Lindsay, I just want to give her the props and thanks for allowing us to be in this room. So if we can give Lindsay a round of applause for putting this space together. But if we can just briefly kind of hear your story and what your vision is for the Underground.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, thank you guys for coming. I'm super excited. Thank you, Miguel, for the amazing introduction. What is this?
It's a mic.
Hello, test 1, 2. How do I do this, Miguel? So you put me on the spot.
I did.
It's just fancy stuff. I'm going to hold it like those YouTubers. It just makes me seem cooler. So the Underground, the vision for the Underground is essentially, it's a place for entrepreneurs, innovators, great minds to come and collaborate. We offer co-working, event rental space, workshops, boot camps. Our goal is to be essentially the plug for information to help you and your business grow. When me and my husband, we moved here a little over 6 years ago, and we were entrepreneurs. He owned a tech company, and we realized it was very difficult to find like-minded people that were in the hustle and grind of starting a business, and we needed other people to collaborate with. And so that's kind of where this idea of the Underground Collab was birthed. And we would love to see you guys, if you guys have, workshop ideas or boot camp ideas or anything that would be valuable to the community, come and talk to me. Right now, I'm in the process of putting together my 2024 calendar. So I would love, yes, come on. So I would love to hear your ideas, because it's not just about me. I'm one person. You guys, I mean, think about it. If every single one of you, or even every other person in this room, came to me and said, I have something that I want to bring to the community that's of value, that's like this today, imagine how much impact we could go into 2024 making. That would be an amazing impact. That would be lives changed. And so that is my goal with the Underground Collab. So after all of this amazing workshop is said and done, please come talk to me if you have a vision or anything you'd like to do in 2024. Thank you, guys.
Let's give her a round of applause. Perfect. Awesome. So our first speaker of the day came to me. Actually, she and I got connected through a mutual friend named Jade Robinson. Jade, if you don't know her yet, Facebook her, YouTube her, amazing person in the community. I said, hey, I put out on Facebook, who are your dynamic women speakers? And some people tagged themselves, which are great, right? Yeah, I mean, you got to believe in yourself, right? But one thing that I was looking out for, I was looking for not the what's the word I'm looking for? The cheesy stuff. I want a minority woman that does this. I want someone that's got impact, that's got fruits of being successful, right? Because anybody can be a powerful speaker. Would you agree? Yes. But who has got impact and fruits of their labor that you can say, hey, you've done this, I can show you how I got it. And that's what we're here to bring today. Patricia Orange, an incredible, from our first conversation over the phone, I just felt the energy. I'm like, hey, I don't even need to meet you in person. Let's go. Let's get this thing together. And which is why her husband said, okay, I got to have that one, right? And so, Patricia, if you can't come right on up here. Patricia, she's going to be able to give you her background, her accolades. And again, so do you need me to hold anything for you, or are you good?
Do you want to be my iPad?
I will be your iPad holder, and you can have the mic right there. But let's give Patricia Orange a round of applause, guys. Come on.
Okay, so that was a great introduction, and sometimes when you hear yourself being introduced, you're like, is that me? Is that really like all the things that I'm doing, right? So just to give a little bit more context of what he's speaking about when it comes to fruits of labor, I'm a broker associate with Coldwell Banker. I'm also a property manager and manage over 60 properties with my husband, Lou Orange, sitting over there, who always loves and supports me. We're high school sweethearts. We also own a development firm where we flip, rehab. We have Airbnbs. We have one here in Springfield on Laura Street. I also co-own 2 co-working spaces, the Nest Co-working, one in Orange Park and one in Riverside, and I'm also a business coach. And I'm a mom of a 4-year-old. And a husband who wants his attention as well. So, long story short, my day is very slim. I have to be very intentional about how I operate. And then I have moms, and my mom and my dad and my brothers and my sisters and all the people that love, know, and trust. And it's so funny, I just saw one of my colleagues, Johnny, he's like, you look familiar. And so being able to just impart, Johnny has called me on so many times and I always answer the phone for him, even though I have 5 million things happening all the time, but just making that intention. So I want to share 3 things with you today that's going to help with your flow, your goal setting, your mindset. I want to preface this with the last 18 months has been the hardest time in my life. I lost 4 family members. I had 4 major hospitalizations of family members. So every month there was something. In addition to the market that we're in, it's not the best market, and I'm in real estate, right? And also just the business needs and being able to fund. We just got done rehabbing 2 properties. That takes capital, that takes time, that takes effort, right? So with that experience, instead of saying, woe is me, there was an introspection of, okay, where do I have to bear down? What do I have to do to show up so that I can persevere and push through? Because let me tell you, anytime you're going to the next level, something's going to come your way. And there's a process that you have to go through to get to the next level, okay? So the first is setting your intention and direction. So when we look at 2024, and we're setting our intention and direction. I used to say, set the attention, but the direction is important too, right? Where are you going? Where are you looking to go? What does that look like for you? So the one thing I've done for years is I've always had a word of the year. So when you're thinking about setting that intention in that direction, what's your word of the year? My word of the year this year was stewardship. And a lot of times when you think about stewardship, you think about monetary, but it's not only monetary. a stewardship of my time, my body, the people around me. With that, I've learned every time I have a word of the year, it challenges me through the year, to be honest. I'm like, okay, all right, word of the year, how am I gonna be challenged? My time was challenged, my money was challenged, my health was challenged. And I can say right now, I've already gone through the steps. I hired a business coach. I've always had a coach for the past 6 years. I've always had a coach. But this year, I hired a business coach to be specific. I've always had like a life coach or something specific to what I wanted. And majority of the time was a life coach. But when I hired my business coach, it made me uncomfortable because I had to have that conversation and I had to look in the mirror, have that reflection of how am I showing up? What are the things that I'm not doing well? And what are the things I have to face in order to be better, okay? So with the word of the year, next year, I've already chosen, it's joy. Joy. And in the past couple of years, I've always had words of the year related to business. It's always follow up, discipline, you know, all the business stuff. But I said, life is too short. After my family members passing away, I said, life is too short. At the end of the day, we're talking about connection. We're talking about being with the people we love. It's about doing the things we love, right? And so for me, I said, I'm gonna be all in joy. Joy, joy, joy. I've got the joy in my heart, down in my spirit, right? And so long story short, I know with that, I don't know what's to come, but the best is yet to come, which is my message, okay? The next part with setting your intention and direction is, how are you speaking to yourself? What are your limiting beliefs? What are you telling yourself? When you say, oh, I can't do that, and it's like, no, I can't do that. So creating the affirmations and the declarations that counter your limiting beliefs that always pop up. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have that voice in our head that's telling us, we can't, we can't, we can't. You've got to counter it. Every single time it comes up, counter. Counterattack, counterattack. That's what I do. With all the things I've got going on, sometimes I'm like, I just want to sleep. I just want to go lay down, okay? And it's like, no, I have to persevere. I have to push through. And so being able to counter those limiting beliefs, that within itself, when we talk about mindset, that's the number one. Because you're going to have those conversations, and you have to push yourself through. And it's you. No one can do it for you. My husband can't do it for me. I can't do it for him. Can I support him? Can I encourage him? Can he do the same thing for me? Sure. Can your business partners do that? Sure. But you have to show up for yourself and be able to speak the good thoughts to yourself. The second thing is number 2, limit distractions. Okay, when we talk about our time, if you go through your calendar on a weekly basis, just look for the next week and say, what am I doing with my time, right? So when we think about screen time with social media, when we think about screen time with email and just doing what you're doing, right? Or when we think about where are you going, how you're spending your time, just evaluate that. Take a look, take a step, not something that you're like, oh, I need to be intentional, but just take a look at what you're doing on a daily basis. And I'm sure that there's points of it that you're like, I don't need to be doing this, or I need to limit that time, okay? One thing I recommend is a focus time. Can it be 5 minutes? Maybe you want to start, I don't know if you heard of Atomic Habits, where it just talks about not just going straight into it, because a lot of times that fizzles out, but maybe just saying 5 minutes of focus time today. And my focus is maybe based off of something for myself or something for my business or something fun to do. It's amazing the things that you can do when you set the intention of saying, I'm going to create this time for me. One thing I do is, especially when I have people calling me, I'm like, okay, I am in a meeting. My meeting might be, I'm working out, I'm getting a bite to eat, I'm doing something, but this is my meeting time. Because sometimes if you're like always going, you have no time for yourself, what does it mean in the end? So being able to have that focus time with yourself is really important. So I just spoke about how great it is with family and friends, which it is, but there also can be a distraction too. So you have to be careful about how, when you're doing great things, everybody wants to be around. So a lot of times when you're going to the next level or you're trying to make things happen, a lot of times that's done in solitude. It's not really done with a bunch of people around you. So you have to be able to say, okay, this is what's Am I in a season of being around everybody, or am I in a season of I need to be by myself for a little bit more and be very intentional? I can't go to can't go. I have to set those boundaries, right? And the boundaries are with yourself. And then being able to stand firm because you'll be tested. It's like, oh, I really want to do that thing. But you have to know where you're going, and where you want to go requires sacrifice. Okay? So the other part is, so that's with the limit distractions. Okay, number 3, find joy and gratitude. So when we look for next year and we look at now, where are you at with joy? Where are you at with gratitude? Every time I have a yoga, now I'm like really big on my health. So every Tuesday I have a yoga session. And there's a practice where she says, name 5 people you're grateful for. And it's so great to just be in silence and pause and just say, who am I grateful for? And it changes. Every week it changes. It's normally about the same top 3, but 2 is like, it just kind of comes in and out, right? And one thing I will say, there's power in gratitude. Because you can make a lot of money, a lot of money. But what does that mean if you can't share it with the people that you love? You can't have the experiences that you want to have, that you've broken relationships or broken commitments because you were chasing the dollar. I do believe there's a balancing, not balance, but balancing, because you're constantly having to adjust when you're on your trajectory. But when it comes to being able to be grateful, that exudes. Have you met a person that has a lot of money? It's kind of like, ooh, unbecoming, like, okay. But then you meet someone, you're like, they have so much money, they're so nice. How is that possible? Because they're grateful, okay? And there's gratitude that's gonna be able to just carry you through it all. Another thing about joy and gratitude, I know with social media, we compare a lot. And one thing I wanna say, comparison is a thief of joy. So you can see someone and say, oh my gosh, they have these great, but you don't know how they got there. You don't know what they did to get to that point. There's something about being like, oh wow, that's amazing, admiration, being able to say they have ambition, but never find yourself in a situation where you're like, I want to be that person. And not to say we say that, but sometimes there's a little bit of something like envy or jealousy or something that can sometimes come up because we're like, why are they getting that and I'm not getting that? When you find yourselves in those moments, that's when you have to have that counter and say, oh, what's for them is for them. What's for me is for me. And what they're doing is great. They're on their journey, but my journey is my journey. And when you do that, it kind of gives you a recalibration to be able to say, okay, great, good for them. But I have my stuff that's coming because the best is yet to come, okay? And then the other part to that is what matters most. Okay, what matters most when it comes to the joy and the gratitude? And that's a question you have to ask yourself. That's not sometimes an answer that comes up immediately. Sometimes you might have to check on a daily basis, especially leading up to 2024. What matters most? Because it's amazing when you ask a question, how sometimes you get those answers coming to you. And you might not like the answer, but you say, oh, this keeps coming to me. Find out what matters most. When you're walking in purpose, there is nothing that can come your way. I'm serious when I say that. And when you're in business, you're gonna have your highs and your lows, and the goal is to get it as consistent as possible. But it takes work, it takes sacrifice, it takes positive mindset, okay? So I wanna leave you with this. If you all would just close your eyes, like in my gratitude session, and I want you to, in your mind, think of 5 people that you are grateful for. All right, thank you so much. The best is yet to come.
Woo! Let's give her a round of applause. Ashley. Can you get Ashley the slideshow together for you guys? What was your biggest point takeaway from Patricia right there?
Being grateful.
Grateful? What else?
Stand up boundaries.
5 people you're grateful for. You know, one of the biggest things that I take away from every speaker is that they all have a different experience. You might hear some of the same information today, but guess what? It's not the deliverer, it's the message. Are they speaking directly to you? And I want to bring up Asley. Coach Asley, he and his wife Diana met me 13 years ago, and at the time I was working in hotels. And if you guys see how I am today, imagine this 13 years ago with no filter, still immature, face full of acne, right? And they were one of the very first people that believed in me. And I try not to cry because, gosh, dang it. All right, anyway, so Asley and Diana, they've built a successful business over the last, 15 years? 15, 16 years. They poured into me when I didn't believe in myself. And I want you to take away that. Everyone needs a coach in every opportunity, in every level of your life. So whether you're a starter entrepreneur or whether you're that person that is, hey, I've hit a pillar, a ceiling. I need to take myself to the next level. Get someone around you that will kick you in your ass when you need it, that are direct to you, but that love you from the side. Does that make sense? So let's give it up to Senior Vice President Asley Peralta. Come on.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. I'm excited to be up here today with you guys. I've been in business 15 plus years, and what I've learned in those 15 plus years is only one Miguel is all you need, boy. Yeah. Anything over that, and I had hair when I met Miguel. I don't have hair now. And so I'm excited to share a couple things with you guys today as we go into 2024. I want to be more technical with it than hokey or whatever, and give you some stuff to help you build and grow your business, because we're all trying to continue to grow our business. And I had no experience whatsoever in none of the stuff that I do now. I came from here from Jacksonville. I was born broke. I was raised broke on food stamps, not the cute EBT card, but the coupon book, right? And I learned a lot of things along the way by necessity, right? When you're broke, you start learning stuff real fast. And a lot of stuff that I learned was just talking through a lot of people and really working through it. And so I just turned it off, all right? So that doesn't help. Okay, here we go. I don't know how to use this. Click OK. So I want to start off with a few things. What business are you truly in? Just a couple questions to ask yourself. What is your message and what is your mission statement, right? And as you look at businesses, they all have that, right? Whether it's Apple, whether it's Facebook, whether it's whatever, you got to have your mission statement. What's your message? Is it clear and concise? Because you have to lead with belief, excitement, clarity, and execution. If you don't believe in what you do, who else is going to believe in it, right? And if you don't have, the excitement, I think a lot of times I run across people and, they talk about what they're doing, they talk about what they want to do, but they're not really excited about it. You ever meet someone like that where you're like, wow, you want to sell me on something, but you're not really jacked up about it, right? You're looking for, I'd rather someone who doesn't know much but's excited, peeing all over the place, if that makes sense, than somebody who's like, yeah, well, what I do, I'm an expert in my field, but, it's kind of like, that's just a dull person. Man, be excited. Have clarity. And most important is execute. Because a lot of people, man, you get around these people that have these big, audacious goals, but they never start anything. And that's a big problem. You got to start executing. See, the biggest hurdle for most people isn't the actual thing. It's the actual starting of the thing. My cousin's a very successful chiropractor, and he wrote a book. He said, you know what the hardest part of writing the book was? I go, what? He goes, sitting down to write it. I thought, okay, that makes sense, right? You got to sit down and write it. He goes, I made every excuse on why not to do it. See, what value does your business bring, and do people know it? Do people know the value? Because if you don't have value, it doesn't really matter. So building a team, man, I've built a lot of teams. I got over 200 licensed agents. I got over 5 different brokerages. I built multiple 6-figure people. And what I learned about it all is building your team is the most important thing. Your team must share your vision. They got to have your vision, because just because someone can do a job doesn't mean they're the right person to do the job. Just because they could do a job don't mean they're the right person to do a job. And you got to be very keen on that, because you got to put the right people in the right position, because someone can tank your whole business. Just because they're good at what they do doesn't mean they share the vision you have, and that's very important, okay? You got to care about your people like family, but have an environment where tough love and coaching is welcomed. Right? All of my agents, we're family. But I expect Reggie to be able to coach, Rosalind. right, as sidelines. If you watch football, you watch sports. If someone misses a block, the coach doesn't have to get on them for missing the block. The other player gets on them. Does that make sense? You have to have that environment conducive to that. So as you're building your teams and starting to work on whatever organization you're in, you're getting around people, you want to build that kind of environment. Too much love means people don't hold each other accountable. You need accountability, right? You need that mirror talk, okay? And then learn how to delegate. If you've never read the book, The E-Myth, I would highly suggest doing that, right? Sometimes you live in your business way too long because your baby's your baby. You got to let your baby go. That makes sense? You got kicked out of the house, right? Kick people out of the house, right? Learn how to delegate. See, there's things that you think only you can do that other people can do better, but because you're scared to let that go, you actually lose the growth of your business. So you got to learn how to delegate. Building teams are very important. Again, I'm only giving you snippets of what we do on a grand scale, but I really want you to get these few things, okay? And then finding and keeping clients. How many people want more clients, right? That's every business. You're not in business if you're not looking to keep clients, to find and keep clients. So look, we're all in the sales business. Most just don't know it. And people run from that. Oh, yeah, man, in 15 years, I always hear people say, man, I don't want to sell anything. Man, I'm not really good at sales. Like, you're doing a hell of a job selling me on how good you're not at sales. You sound like a great salesperson to me, right? We should get you working. But we're all good at sales. You sold your spouse on being with you, right? That's a sell, right? You sold your kids on going to sleep early. We're all good at sales. It's just you haven't used it in the right way or the right place. But understand that you got to get good at that. You must bring a ton of value to your clients and learn to solve their problems. There's not a company in the world that doesn't solve a problem. Not a company in the world. We had a great conversation about something I didn't even know, right? This is that box that everyone sees on a thing, but it solves a problem, right? When you're hungry, a restaurant solves that issue. When you need clothes, a clothing store. So there's not a company that doesn't solve a problem. You have to solve a problem. And when you're talking to people and you're talking to clients or prospective clients, see, a lot of times we talk about what we can do, but what we need to do is ask more questions and see what their problems are and help them solve those. So be really quick to ask a lot of questions and listen, because at the end of the day, it's about solving problems. Number 3, understand that it is always a numbers game. This is where most people fail, right? I'm in the business of finance, and I'll talk to teammates sometime and agents, and they'll say, man, nobody really wants to do what we do, or nobody's buying. So how many people you talk to this week? 3. So 3 is nobody. Right, that's the problem. If you talk to 300, then you could have a different view. But people don't want to go through the numbers. You have to go through the numbers whether you like it or not. Good days or bad days, sunny days or rainy days. You have to go. It's a numbers game. The more shots you take, the more shots you make. You have to understand, the business owners, we got to take a lot of shots. And last but not least on this topic, the fortune is in the follow-up. Most people will not buy the first time you meet with them. Most people won't do anything the first time you meet with them. But you have to follow up. I have people I followed up with forever. And eventually they become clients. One of my highest income earners, I followed up with him for a year and a half. Finally got him, and boom, life changing. And so the bottom line is we got to get good at these things. As entrepreneurs, if we're going to go into 2024 and we're going to change anything, we need to change the way we do business, okay? And if you've done all of these things, congratulations, but we can always sharpen each other, right? We can always get better, all right? And then here, just last thing, a few tips to keep you in business. Number 1, you are the brand. Do you act as such? Right? I teach my guys all the time, right? If I'm ever with you in a restaurant and you're rude to a waiter or any of that stuff, immediately you're off my team. Right? How you treat, you got to treat everybody with respect. The janitor all the way up into the CEO, like they say, right? And so you're the brand. You got to carry yourself as such. I don't care if you're going to the grocery store just to grab some bread. Dress as if you're going to meet the next person to change your life. And so in every aspect of what you do, if you have a business, you are forever the brand of that business. The first face they see is you. But do you act as such? Okay, number 2, what is your social media presence? Right, I'm not as great as my wife's phenomenal on social media. She's helping me with a lot of stuff there. I got stuck on IG and never left, okay? I left Facebook a long time ago, and I don't have a TikTok yet. But this year, that was our goal, is to get that stuff going. But I realized one of the things I was slow with is I looked at social media as a distraction. And I was looking at it the wrong way, because I don't know about you, but what I'm learning is if you don't have a social media presence, you're not going to get too far these days, right? And so, man, you got to have a great social media presence and clean that page up and make it look good, and and don't air all your stuff and your grievances. And it's funny. I watch couples, and I know when they're fighting just off social media, right? They put like poetic quotes like, yeah, be careful with your heart because it's fragile, and someone might bring it like, here they go. Miguel's fighting again. So, you know, your social media presence is important. And can someone always reach you? Right? You got to be accessible. You got to be accessible. Can someone always reach you? You were talking earlier about, you know, picking up the phone every time someone calls. I mean, you know, there's times where you're not going to be available, but you got to be reachable. People got to know that they can count on you. Okay? And the last one on this is be the most energetic person in the room. Any room you walk in, be the most energetic person. It costs you nothing to smile and be excited, okay? I think most people lose the fight right then and there. You walk in a room and it's like, oh, I don't know nobody. And I'm an introvert at heart. That's weird. That's weird. When I talk to people, they're like, well, you seem very extroverted. No, if I go in a party, I'm going to the corner where I know people. I'm not really, you know, I learned over time that, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? But that's not, by nature, that's not who I am. So what I learned was, you know, I'm just going to step in the room and try to be the most energetic version of me, okay? Again, you know, I think that's huge because it's the impression you give people, you know? And oftentimes before you open your mouth, you've said all you had to say. And so if someone can feel that from you, because energy's felt, you don't have to talk, right? Your actions speak so loud you don't hear the words, right? If your energy is exciting and people can catch it, man, everything else will fall perfectly in line, okay? And then if there's anything I can do to help you in any way, here's my contact info. Again, you know, I meet with business owners all the time, especially small business owners to help them grow their business, especially team building and stuff like that. That's not an expertise for most people. Most people are excited to have themselves. Does that make sense? And it's like, okay, no, we got to get someone else now and someone else on your team. Let's start really building stuff for you. And so if there's anything I can help you with, there goes my phone number, there's my email, and then that's my Instagram page. You know, my goal for each and every one of you in this room as you head into 2024 is, you know, an abundance of success and wealth and health and joy and anything that your heart desires. But more importantly, man, as we head into this new year, for it to be explosive for you. Right, for you to get exactly what it is that you're seeking to get this year. And I want to thank Miguel for putting this together because, you know, like he stated earlier, when I met him and he was young and wild and, oh my gosh. Yeah, when I had hair, right? You would have never forecasted what I see now. And that's that old adage, don't judge a book by its cover, right? You know, you pour into people, you believe in people, and then before you know it, they shock you and do things like this. And so what an incredible guy. I mean, putting this together, having this all together, and if we could just stay together, I think we could up this community in a big time way. Thanks for having me up here. God bless you guys.
Awesome. So I always like to say the butt can only endure for what the mind can only absorb what the butt can endure, right? Does anyone ever feel that way? So, like I said, we're going to go fast this morning. We're going to be out of here before you know it. Before you know it, you're going to be home with your kids and saying, dang, man, I want to go back over there. I got to get rid of these kids. Is that just me? Is that just me? Okay. I love my kids, but okay, come on. But I just want to take a brief second to introduce you guys to the sponsor of our event. If I can get Chance Ramos from Arc One Protection to come up here. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Miguel. When you invited me to this, or when you told me about it, first of all, I also too met Miguel when I had hair. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but I had to stand up because you're in the right room with like-minded individuals when you're getting all excited, right? I had to stand up. I had to, I'm getting all, ready to go. Let's go. I have a different industry. Or I'm in a different industry. I am also in financial services, was for a long time with similar companies that Miguel and others are a part of. So hearing all this again is really exciting for me. But I'm going to share you real quick a little bit of my story. So I'm in the protective services industry, and when I say that to people, they go, what the hell is that? So it's a fancy word to say security. And when I started my company, I've been in the security industry for coming on 12 years now. And when I said, you know what, I feel like I can do this better than all these other companies. And I had my good experiences working for other people, and I had my bad experiences. And so when I made that leap of faith, you spoke about that, which I appreciate, thank you. I didn't know what I was doing. I drew from coaches and people that I have heard growing up. And I tell Miguel, and I've told other people, I have these aha moments now and then in my weeks, because literally everything that I've done in my life has prepared me for where I am today. From retail, from waiting tables, to working for other companies, to sales, to cold calling, to door to door. Everything that I've done to make money, to put food on the table, to pay the bills, has prepared me for where I am today. I didn't realize that until I started a company. It's funny how life works, right? So just real quick so I understand, I'm not going to take a ton of time. Who either owns a business? Who owns a business? Okay, great. Who is thinking about getting into business? Okay, a few. So I'm here to talk to you guys, really. The people who have been in business will relate to this. And this is kind of, I'll be honest with you, what I'm going through right now a little bit of. First of all, I want to share with you this. The world needs us. Our country needs entrepreneurs. Don't quit. Don't give up. The world needs what we do right now. I don't know, all you guys are different industries and whatnot. And grab me, please. I'd like to meet more of you. And Miguel, we're like brothers, really. He's more the extroverted one, and I'm a little bit more the introverted one. Thank you so much. Take me out first, right? Buy me a drink, and then I get loose. Jeez, Miguel doesn't have that problem. But anyways, that's not the point. We all love Miguel. That's why we're here. Yes. But it's also about understanding that what we're building a family. We're building people we can plug into. Because there's going to be days where we're going to man, I need some help. Pick me up. But let me go back just real quick. Entrepreneurship is the hardest thing that you will do. But it's also, I heard one of my mentors say this, it's the best self-improvement plan attached to a high compensation package depending on what you do and how you do it. But let's go back self-improvement. Because on those days when you are down, what are you doing with your weeks and your days to get your mindset right? How's your fitness? How's your diet? What are you putting into your mind? You're going to hear from somebody like that. We'll help you with that. And then are you consistently doing it, or are you just doing it for a week? Those are big. There's things out there that you can plug into too for free. Don't get lost in YouTube land, because that'll distract you big time. But real quick, he wanted me to share my story, and I have 2 minutes, so real quick. So I started my company about 5 years ago. Coming on 5 years ago when COVID was really coming around. And I had all kinds of people say, why are you going to start a business during COVID? I go, why not? All businesses are closing down. Why not? To me, I felt like it made sense. So started business. We had a really big client at the time. Was COVID related. And out of the gate, my first payroll check, or my first revenue check was about $74,000, more money I'd ever seen. I had a partner at the time, and I'm not going to go there. But from there to 3.5 years, we went from $76,000 to $2 million in a month. I'm good at what I do. But it's the value. Don't forget that. You can't just be good at selling. What value are you putting into the marketplace? Because that's the key. That's what your clients or your customers, whoever you're selling to, will pay for, the value that you put in. And that's what you will get paid on. But also remember this, you'll probably may hear it, treat your people well. Pay them more than the industry will. They'll give it back to you. Some will burn you. Been there, done that. A lot of people have burned me big time. But I still pay my people well. Because it'll lead me to people like Miguel. Some of you know me in this room. And I'm just great to be here. So you guys remember, the world needs what we do. The world needs entrepreneurs. Go into the new year with a different mindset. Turn the news off. Chris, what do they say? If it's important, somebody tell you? If it's important enough for you to know, somebody will tell you. Shut it off. All right? So that's ultimately my message. My time's up, but thank you. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Our next person we're going to bring up is going to be Renard and Jessica Peoples. If both of you guys want to come up here, Renard and Jessica, they run Relief Clinic. You guys ever hear need some relief sometimes? And they offer some relief in a very traditional way. All right, whatever. Hold on, let me pull it.
How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Most of you guys don't know me. My name is Renard, and this is Jessica, my wife. We own the Relief Clinics here in Florida. I got to tell you, Mr. Aisley, where you at? I would not have came up here if it wasn't for you just now coming up and saying stuff, because everything hit on the head, and I absolutely have to definitely be out there more if I want it, you know. I met Miguel a long time ago. I definitely had hair, and I still got hair, but I didn't. I did not have gray hair, so definitely, and I'm definitely thankful to know you. That was another thing, just being thankful for things. And to let you guys know a little bit about me, I guess I talk a lot, right? I own the Relief Clinics. We are not a dispensary. We don't have marijuana. It's a chain of medical clinics that we provide help with getting your medical marijuana cards. And to be honest with you, before I came up here, I was always going through the imposter syndrome. But now listen to you guys. I know that I ain't the only one that sort of got out and jumped out and walked on faith and absolutely didn't know what I was doing. And a long time was like, gosh, man, God must be ordering my steps, because I'm walking and doing and I'm talking and I'm evolving into this person. Now, it's absolutely the hardest thing in the world you'll ever do. Sometimes I say, man, I wish I could go back to hourly, but then on the other hand, it's like, nah, I can sleep in when I want to sleep in now. And that is important. I started a little backstory. Arista probably knows this a little bit more. I was probably one of the worst juveniles ever in the state of Florida back in the 90s. I was actually on a program called ShowCap, where the worst 30 juveniles in the state. And I was a bad guy back then. And it took a long time for me to evolve into this, and it was especially after having kids. And I was looking at going to the welfare office and being a grown man and looking at myself, man, I got a kid, man, I can't do this. And that determination pushed me to jump. You know, I dropped out in the 9th grade, so I really don't have as much education as most of you guys do. But that determination and jumping is the hardest part, is jumping in and doing it. I seen that Florida needed something, and we came back, me and my wife. My wife's a smart person. So I had a dream, and she know how to put it on paper, and we did it, and we jumped out on faith and went. We actually was homeless as owners. Years when we first started, it was really hard because we sort of got kicked out of our place because I'm pushing up with this business. But to be honest with you, I just kept going with my eyes closed. And we made it. We made it. We are the top medical recommendations clinic in the state now. We have 7 going on 8 locations, so we're all throughout the state now. And we're just doing it the best that we can. And any advice that I would give, everybody already did. Listen, just keep going. Keep going. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're a broke millionaire. But just keep going, keep going, keep going. You'll make it.
Just keep the goal. Keep the goal. I think there's been a lot of discussion about keeping kind of the focus and what the meaning is. And, you know, we've always talked about trying to branch out and do some other things. And it's always a discussion of, are we passionate about it? Because if I'm not passionate, it's going to be
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. I can't sell something I'm not interested in. You know, I'm interested in helping people. I'm interested in getting them different ways to help themselves. You know, different ways to medicate, because pharmacies and things like that, we know what pharma's doing to people in a lot of cases. I mean, it's definitely needed in certain situations, but overall we know it's not. There's other ways. So I would say, yeah, just keep going, because I'm not the keep going. I would sit at home and do an hourly where I'm like, I can predict.
Just be comfortable.
I know I can, the stability probably for me, as a mom of 6, especially, because I got all these little people looking at me, but I would much rather these little people see us go through some trials and come out better and not, have to be controlled by bosses, I guess, almost,
Yeah. So now you guys know I'm definitely the jump out a window guy. So
But find yourself, jump out the window, folks, and, find the yin to your yang, and it works. It can work, because he'll jump out every window. I try to at least throw a parachute.
sometimes.
No stopping.
So if you guys ever want to get your medical marijuana card, we have an office in Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Jacksonville, Gainesville, St. Augustine, Pensacola, Orlando, Ocala, Bonita Springs, and I might be missing something, but you can definitely get your card. Just that guy in the back, he is the guy in this area for us. So if you guys have any questions, definitely talk to Tyler. All right?
Let's give them a round of applause.
All right. Thank you. Oh, shoot.
And our last but not least sponsor of our event is my good friend Jessica Vasquez from Gold Key Realty. And come on, you gotta say something. Let's give it up to Jessica.
I don't know if I need this. Do I need it? No.
No, we're recording it for you. So that's the one thing that I will tell you, the one thing I love about Jessica, she's got a heart for the Hispanic community. That is why I partner with Jessica. It's because she speaks more Spanish than I do, and everyone else does. Yeah, Reggie might speak more Spanish than me. But she's got a heart for the community, and that's the reason we wanted to partner with you today. So if you want to tell everyone about what you do.
My heart is like, woo, I'm crazy. So my name is Jessica Vasquez. I am the broker owner of Gold Key Realty of Jax, Inc. I've been a realtor for almost 6 years now, and sorry, I was not expecting this. So anyway, but I came into this world, this real estate world, with a goal in mind that I never thought was possible. I never thought I wanted to be a broker owner. I never thought I wanted to have agents. I never thought I wanted to open up to my community, because I am, as you can tell, I am super introverted when I talk to people. However, if you put me on a one-on-one situation, we can talk all day long. But the way you talk about passion to yourself and passion about your business, that is where it has to come from. You have to be passionate about what you do. If you don't, you will never succeed if you only do it for the money. A little bit about me and my backstory. I grew up on food stamps as well. We grew up super poor. My family comes from Puerto Rico. We had nothing. My grandparents had nothing except love. Like, that's all we had. I had a mom who would, when those coupons were, in paper still, she would send us to the mini market, and she would say, go change that. I need the money. And she would collect all these little coins to pay whatever she had to pay, or do whatever she had to do to take care of all 6 of us. But when I started my real estate journey, I was in my 30s, early 30s, probably 30. Before that, I always rented. We always rented. That's what we did. We were poor, we rented, we didn't have any money to buy a house. Who buys houses, right? That's for the rich people. But it's not. It's not. Everyone can be a homeowner. Everyone can be a business owner. Everyone can create their own wealth. What is the best way to create your own wealth? In yourself, and then into your own real estate. And it doesn't just come once you buy that first house, you're like, wow, I'm a homeowner. Wow, I can do this. Then you get that goal, you want to get another house. You want to get an investment property. You want to start flipping. You want to do this, you want to do that. And then when you grow that passion, it really does change your life. But anyway, back to my little story. When I first started my home journey, my credit was a 498. And I was in a situation to where the guy that I was renting from at that time, I don't know, it's back in 2008, I think it was, I rented and I was paying $950 a month in rent. It's a little expensive back then, but hey, I was in a good area. My children were taken care of. I was a single mom. And coming to find out, the house is in foreclosure. So I'm like, and I kept asking him, hey, I really do want to buy this house. I like this house. I don't want to move. My children are stable, whatever. And he's like, no, I don't want to sell it. No, I don't want to sell it. No, I'm like, okay, fine. I get the notice from the bank, and it was like, you got to go. You got to go. And here I am with my 3 kids, and I'm like, now what? Now what do I do? I'm back to sort of like what I went through as a child. We had no stability. We were moving all the time. And I didn't want that for my children. I wanted to change my life. So I had a plan, and I'm like, okay, my credit's a 498. What do I need to do? How do I get it up? I pay my bills because I buy everything in cash because I have crappy credit. But how do I fix this? What do I do? And some person from my church came to me, and they were like, hey, this is what you have to do. You got to get a secured credit card, get a secured loan. In a couple months, I had decent enough credit, but really what killed me was my student loans. I owed $25,000 in student loans. 2 degrees, no job. Always worked. I mean, I worked numerous jobs, plenty of jobs, but I always worked for somebody else, never worked for myself. And I had a weird time in my life where I was just like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? What do I do? Why am I doing this? What is my why behind what I'm doing in this world? My why always came from my children. My children were always my pushing force. I have 3 boys and 2 horrible failed marriages, and life was just like, why am I here? What is this about? Is it even worth it? What am I doing? And I remember I had a sit-down talk with my pastor, and I was just like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I can't do this thing called life. Like, it is really hard to be an adult who didn't have any support. We are a huge family, but we don't really get along. I don't have people who support me that are family. I mean, I do now, but back then I did not. Me and my sisters never really got along. My mom was out there doing her own thing. Here I am with me and my 3 kids, and we don't have anything. And I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? So anyway, I had enough favor from God to say that after 4 long years of that process, I was able to not only get a house, I had a house built. So I worked a number of jobs, saved up a lot of money, changed the entire course of my life. And I met my current husband now, who we've been together almost 10 years now. And literally, he is the reason why I'm here, along with my family, my children, my mom, my dad, who passed away a long time ago. But it has seriously changed my life being a homeowner. And I want to see that happen for everyone. Homeownership is attainable for everyone. First-time home buyers, multiple home ownerships. It is why I do what I do. And I know I am passionate about what I do. And I love changing those paths for people and creating generational wealth. So my name is Jessica. Have a good night. Thank you.
Let's go. Let's give the sponsor. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys that contributed to our event. We got 3 speakers left, guys. We're about to. This part's going to amp up really fast. I get to bring up the awesome Sonia. Sonia and I, we've been connected for almost about a year now or so, and we connected randomly. I had a little helium machine that was given. I might sit in my garage. Let me just put this on Facebook Marketplace, and she needed it for an event. And slowly but surely, we started to see each other on Facebook, and we added each other. Now we talk like almost every day. hey, what's up? What you doing right now? Where you at? And she still has that. And Jessica, you still have your. I do not take credit for y'all losing y'all hair. That's y'all's genes and genetics. Ain't got nothing to do with Miguel. Yes. No, but so again, guys, strap in your seats and be ready to take some notes. Sonia has got an incredible story, and she'll be able to go over that stuff with you. She's got her bodyguard over there, David.
He doubles as my husband.
He does. Looks like a mobster, but amazing guy over there. So let's give it up to Sonia, and she's going to share some great tips.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sonia Marticello. And Jessica, I just want to, before I even start, you know, the story that you told is literally the story of me growing up, because I'll tell you something. You can start on food stamps, and you can be born broke, but you don't have to die broke. Right. And your story talking about food stamps, I was that kid. I didn't even know what $1 looked like. It was green and it was different. That's how poor I grew up. But I can tell you can go from food stamps to Woman of the Year, and it can happen, and it can be you. But I'm super excited to be here today. I know that I put a slide together. I just kind of want to throw it out and say, let's just go with everything that's kind of on my heart for everybody that's in this room today. But what I want to talk about is my company first. I own Pinnacle Communications Group. We are the only 100% minority women-owned physical security company right here in Jacksonville. We service the entire Southeast, and we have 4 national accounts now under our belt. But what we do is we do building asset protection. So we are going to secure your facility, your products, and your people. And that's what my company does. But more than that, the biggest thing that it's allowed me to do is have a platform to support, encourage, and champion women. I am really passionate about women being in any field, women just being in the workforce. It's so critical for us. 70% of Jacksonville is small businesses. So when we talk about they need us, they need us. And we need to make sure that we're ready so that when they do need us, we're ready to go. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And just a quick agenda. We can just skip. Let's just, do you want to?
It's on you.
Okay. Am I not going the right way here? Is it supposed to go that way?
Oh, I think it's on this TV. One of these TVs. We can see 2 Sonias. Let's go.
I don't even know which. It's not clicking at all. All right. Did you do it? No. Okay. All right, I'm just going to be in the middle of this. I'm going to figure it out as we go. But just a quick agenda of really kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Just give you the overview of Pinnacle. But I'm going to talk about obstacles. I'm going to talk about what it takes to make your company successful as a small business right here in Jacksonville. We're going to talk about Transition Road. I'm a crazy person about acronyms. As a mom, as a fancy, I'm not a grandma, I'm a fancy, but as a mom, as a fancy, as a manager, as a founder, as an owner, we wear so many hats. So I'm a big acronym person, and so that will be really, that's what these acronyms are for, and we're going to get to those in a second. But what I really am also going to do is I'm going to leave you with true resources, people you can actually call that will make a difference in your business. So and one of them's here with me today because she also doubles as one of my best friends. And I don't know how or why this thing does not like me today. Okay. Went the wrong way. Okay. We talked about Pinnacle. Okay. Obstacles. These are PCG obstacles. This is our story. I'm a pandemicpreneur. I launched my company inside a pandemic with 2 18-year-olds. I left a very comfortable position. I had 2 girls, one that was a valedictorian right here in Jacksonville, and another one that was in her first year in school in Charleston. So when the pandemic happened, the girls came home, and I had varsity cheerleaders and cheer captains and really vibrant, outgoing girls. And you think about it, in 18 to 22-year-olds, they kind of got lost in the shuffle when COVID happened. They really didn't know what to do. They didn't know what the outlook was going to be. So I was going to work every day. My husband works from home, and my girls didn't have anywhere to go. They had nothing they could do. They just kind of became these Netflix and potato chip kids that I just did not recognize. So I told my husband, I said, something's got to change. And he said, well, if there isn't a solution, if it's not out there and there isn't an opportunity for the girls, you need to create it. That's what I did. We did Funyuns Pizza, went to the sofa, and PCG was born. Well, it's great that I launched a company, but then the reality hit. We had project funding issues, contract opportunity issues, had a collab with other big businesses that have been around for a long time, and exposure. So a couple of the issues that I had was I started my company with VyStar Bank, and you can see the denied on the up on the screen. VyStar was my bank. I had a mortgage with VyStar. I'm sorry, that's not true. I had two car loans with VyStar. I launched my small business with VyStar. When I needed money because our company had won a contract, I went to VyStar, and VyStar said, no, you're not ready yet. Not you, not right now. And then I was kind of stuck because now I have a responsibility. I just won $1 million contract with Nassau County. I went out and beat all the good old boy network, and I'm doing it. I'm feet in the street. I'm boots on the ground. And then I didn't have a bank. But then I found First Citizens Bank. Then I'm going to give you their information a little bit later. First Citizens Bank, in 48 hours, loaned my small minority business company $680,000 in 2 days. So when I talk about these are some of the obstacles that we're all going through it. Unless you don't belong in this room because you have really deep pockets, you need project funding. And that's one of the banks that will give it to you. I'm a case study, I'm a proven concept, and I can tell you it works. Contract opportunities, that was another issue. Small businesses, how do we work together? How do we go after contracts? How do we get some of these contracts that you see? Do you guys really understand there's $2.7 billion in the Jacksonville streets right now? Who could use some of that? Do you have your certifications to be able to go after it? Do you have your ducks in a row? Do you have all of your paperwork? Do you have those things that it's going to take to get those contract opportunities? Because we're competing with the Good Old Boy Network. We're competing with businesses that have been around for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and we're brand new, and we're already at a disadvantage. We're minorities. I'm a woman. So we've got a lot of things that we have to do to make sure that we're ready to be in that realm for those contracts. And I'm going to show you how to go after those today. Collabing versus competing, that's really tough. Women get such a bad rap. Oh, women can't work together, they're too catty. You know, it's just not, it's not for women, let a man do it. But let's really face it, and no disrespect to the men in this room, but women are the best man for the job. Because we're going to get it done. We are going to get it done. Exposure. How do people even know about your business? I've seen people in this room today, and I didn't know any of you had a business, and I'm excited to hear about what your business does, and I want to be able to help promote your business, and I want you to help promote my business, because if we don't really start looking at how to expose each other, we're all missing money. I'm not competing with any of you. I want to work together, and I want to make your business grow, because if you make Jacksonville grow, that makes my company grow. Those buildings, those businesses, they're going to need physical security. So there is a whole circle of life about being exposed and us working together to do that. But how do you do it? Well, we can't just overcome. We've got to transition. And the biggest way to transition your small business is with mentorship. We've talked about it a couple of times today. I have 2 mentors. One is from Florida Blue, and the other one is from a Vistage group that I'm in. And through First Citizens, that's where he's at. But I can tell you, you have to have somebody that gives you guidance. Somebody has to hold your hand, but they've also got to be able to have those hard conversations with you. The hardest thing is to sit and look at somebody and let them tell you what is going wrong and what you're not doing right, because nobody wants to hear that. But we have to be accountable for it because you're responsible for somebody else's livelihood. So you have to make the right decisions, and if they're not the right decisions, try to make them the best decisions. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you're talking and being coached by somebody who's been there, somebody who's done that, somebody who understands. And I wanted a Florida Blue mentor, and the couple of people that I told I wanted a Florida Blue mentor really laughed at me. They're like, Sonia, come on. Florida Blue's huge. You're just this little nothing. Well, the senior vice president of IT infrastructure is my mentor. And he sits right up there and has 80,000 employees. So who better for me to learn from? Right. So don't ever let somebody tell you your mentor isn't right for you, because nobody knows your journey better than you. Here's the acronyms, and I was going to be a lot of writing, but embrace your ACE. The biggest thing for me is I'm a 4:30 morning person. I get up every day at 4:30. I know, and Alfreda, she gets mad at me because I'll call her at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm already 2 or 3 hours in my day, and I'm picking up the phone, and Alfreda will be like, girl, I haven't got out of bed yet. But making sure that your attitude, 4:30 in the morning determines what you do. That's going to set the pace for your entire day. Make sure your attitude matches. Make sure that nobody's going to derail you, because even if somebody does, it's for a drop in the bucket of your whole life. It's not going to ruin your day. It's not going to ruin your week. So just making sure that those are really important, that you have a good attitude. And these are my dailies. This is what I do every day. I want to get up and I want to have the right attitude. The second thing I want to do is I want to commit and deliver. That's really important as a small business. If you're going to tell somebody you're going to be there, show up. And if you're not going to be, make sure that you're accountable for those things, because people are dependent on you. And small business gets a rap already because we're small. But we want to make sure that we can be as big as we can, and that requires us to show up. Effort. You've got to put 100% in every day. You can't, there is no half-stepping. It just isn't happening, because you're not going to get there. If you don't put 100% toward it, do you want me to invest 100% of my time into your business? Or my money? Because if you don't have the effort, please don't come asking for me, because I don't take on complainer friends. I don't have any of those. And I'm serious. Alfreda will tell you. I don't, because honestly, it's really important, because people who take your energy, they're either going to suck all the energy out of you with all their drama and their gossip, which isn't going to make you $1, because none of that stuff on Facebook pays you any money. but are they going to put the effort into your business? So you want to make sure that you're reciprocating those every single day. The next thing is enough. This is what I do weekly. These are my weeklies. Every day, no matter what happens, just know every single day what you did was enough. Maybe it wasn't the big win, but it was enough. And education, are you educating yourself? Are you going and getting that extra class? Are you doing those things? Because a lot of people talk about education and they say, I don't want to pay for that class. I don't want to join that mentorship. I don't want to pay for that networking. But you don't realize you're not paying somebody. You're actually investing in yourself. So are you worth $35? Are you? Because you should be. Because if you're not worth $35, again, you're in the wrong room. And those are hard conversations. Networking, are you in the right circle? Because one thing that a lot of, especially Latino families, we have to understand, our friends and families, those aren't our customers. Those are our discount doers, right? Those are our barterers. Those are our, let me do this and you do that. How does that look on your taxes? So you have to remember that your network is critical. Your net worth is in your network. Opportunity. Are you being seen? Did you show up today to get a business card, to talk to somebody, to set up a meeting for next week? Because that's where those opportunities come from. We can't find you sitting at home on your sofa and watching Netflix. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you're being productive out in the community, because if you truly want to be a community partner, you have to be seen, and those opportunities are right here in Jacksonville. Understanding, that's a tough one. Are you wearing the right hat when you have those conversations? Earlier, I talked about how I'm a mom, I'm a fancy, I'm a manager, I'm a founder, I'm an owner. I've got 62 different labels, but when I'm having a conversation with any person specifically, am I wearing the right hat? I launched my company with my two 18-year-old daughters, and so many times I found myself yelling at them as their mom and not coaching them as their mentor. And so it's really important that we understand where we are in that moment, because what we're doing affects our team. And our team is, like he said, it's your family, but they have to be accountable. It's a tough love family. It's really critical. Growth. What are you doing to grow your company, to grow your business? It's so difficult when you talk about growth and scale, because people just seem to think that you get a contract and you're off and running, but that's really not how it works. One contract isn't gonna, every day, no matter what you win today, you gotta go out and win it again tomorrow. That's growth. Understanding that what I did today was enough, but now I gotta go out and get more, because that's where growth comes from. You can't scale until you have those growth opportunities under your belt, and you understand that these are the habits. This is habit every week. I go through this every single week, and I have a journal, and I write it down because I wanna know, what did I miss? How can I be better next week? Because I can't stand up here and tell you guys stuff that I'm not doing. And I have to be accountable. Monthlies. Clear. This is a really good one. I do this at the end of the month. Who did I collaborate with? Did I follow up with that person? Did I set a meeting with that person? Because that's going to set up my next month. I can meet 37 of you today, but if I don't follow up with you guys next month, what am I doing in January? And so it's really important when you're collaborating. There's purpose in your networking. Leadership. Am I really true to what I'm learning, what I've been taught, what I'm projecting, what I'm putting out? Is it positive? We talked about social media, and my social media is always, I put a touch out there and I'm off and running. I don't want to be involved. I don't care what's going on. None of that stuff matters, because people who read my social media often are coming back and telling me, I read your post this morning, it made me do this. I read your post today, and I did this. And I encourage you to find other people, myself if you feel like it, but understand that what you read and put into your brain is exactly what the output you're going to get. You talk about gossip and all the drama and the hate, that's exactly what you're going to fill your circle with. Energy, we talked about that. I am the most energetic person on the planet on some days. I think, really honestly, I get up, I don't coffee. I'm a iced water and lemon. Water and lemon. Alfreda doesn't understand how I do it, but I'm ready to go at 4:30. I'm a 4:30 person, and it's that same energy that will carry me. You can find me with this attitude at 5, 8, doesn't matter. I want to be the best reflection of my business and myself every single day. You never know who's watching. That's good. Accountability. Those are those hard conversations. Are you having those hard conversations with people who are just looking to ridicule you? Are you having those conversations with people who are looking to rise you up? Because you can talk all day to your sister about how bad your business is, and is she going to be the one that you need to tell that to? Is she going to give you the guidance that says, hey, maybe we should pivot and do this? That's why those accountability conversations are super critical. One thing that small businesses miss are recurring revenue. And I look at this on a monthly. At the end of the month, I want to know what contract did I capture. Maybe it was managed service. Maybe it was an insurance, a contract for what I do. But looking at RMR, which is recurring monthly revenue, those are really critical to a small business. It doesn't matter if you capture somebody and they can't, let's say that Alfreda is offering a product, but it's $1,200. The customer may not have it, and she says, well, I can put you on a recurring monthly revenue. You pay me $100 a month, but I'm going to perform the work for you. Now she knows she can budget $100 all the way through next year. Now she just needs several more of those, because what that does is create an undercurrent so that she can create fixed ops, so she can build better, and she can build her business stronger. EMT, this is the annual one. This is the business health. You got to go to the doctor annually. This is what you need to do annually for your business. Entrepreneurship, you are entrepreneurship. You are 100% everything that makes your business what it is. So when he talks about the team and your team is a reflection of you, they absolutely are. If you're going to complain about your food, don't have lunch with me. If you're going to pout about it's too hot outside, please, let's not chat. Because honestly, I am a reflection. I don't want to be the complainer. I don't want to walk in a room and someone say, oh, there's Sonia. I'm sure it's not cool enough in here for her today. We don't want to be those people. We have enough of a negativity and a stigma on us that we don't need that. So we have to be making sure that we are really, really studying in entrepreneurship. Mindset. That's 100%. That is 100%. That's changing the way that you think. That's saying, I didn't have to pay $35 to come and be in this room today. That's saying, I paid myself $35 to invest in me. That's mindset. Looking at whatever it is and changing the mindset. It could be a tweak of a couple of words, but those couple of words and moving that sentence and just changing it a little bit will completely set the tone for your entire day, your week, your month, your year. Then you got to go see Jessica. Training, making sure that you're really training. Are you training what you have an expectation of your business? I'm not a technician, but I understand what my technicians do at a high level. But I've got a hard hat, I've got work boots in my car. Do not let the heels deceive you. I will go get on a roof if that's what it takes for my team. I've filled in, I have gone and done those things, but you have to be able to always be training, because if you're not, your team's only as good as you are. Right. And so it's really important that you get the fact that if they're doing it, are you going to do it? Because that's what makes the difference between the way that you operate your business and somebody else. I'm never too good for the work. Now, the resources. I know I went through this kind of fast, but this is really important. Greg Dietrich, he's a vice president at First Citizens Bank. He's the guy you can call him and say, hey, do you know Sonia Marchisello? And he's going to say, I funded her $680,000 in 48 hours. How can I help you? And when you go and you talk to him, you want to make sure your ducks are in the row. Make sure. He's going to ask some hard questions. He's going to want to make sure that you've got those things. But if you have those things, and contracts hold value. You might go win a $100,000 contract and not even know the first place to go do anything with it, and maybe you don't have the credit and your business is only 2 days old, but you go see First Citizens Bank and they will look at that contract as collateral. And those are the kinds of people that you need to elevate your business. Perfectly Suited Career Consulting, that's Alfreda Boney. And if you don't know her, she's right here. And I want everybody to meet her. Yes. Alfreda will take your business to the next level on a social level, on an intellectual level. She'll build you a capability statement that stands out. But if you don't know her and you're walking around, she's one of the biggest resources in this room. She is so tapped into the city of Jax. She's so tapped into the Jax Chamber. The Rotary does not matter. And she doesn't pay me for this. So, but understand that those are the people that you want in your circle. If there's dollars out on the street, Alfreda will know before anybody else does. She's in those rooms. So you need to know her. WeBank, the women's business, Economic National Council, I'm an ambassador for that. Steph McPhee is our regional branch director. That's how women get certified in their business. That sets you apart when you're going after an actual bid. If I'm bidding against Miller Electric and it's a $100,000 bid to come in here and put lighting in this building, it could just be the fact that I am a women-owned business, a minority women-owned business, and I win the bid. Miller Electric, I'm sorry, you may have more credentials, more trucks, a union, it doesn't matter. Minority women-owned trumped it. And that's why having those certifications is really critical as a minority business. And that's definitely something I can help you do. Greg Grant, and if you don't know him, you need to follow him on LinkedIn. You need to get with Greg just like you do Alfreda. Greg just came into the procurement department as the new manager. He's overhauling the Jacksonville Small and Economic Business. It's the JSEB program. It needed it. It was well overdue. But what Greg does is he connects the business that has the certification to the contract that the city is sitting on. The city is sitting on $2.7 billion right now. Do you know when they can't find a minority company, they say, we're going to reallocate the funds. We're just going to reallocate it. Couldn't find somebody. How many times does that happen, Alfreda? 99% of the time? Because these big businesses are just waiting for small businesses not to show up. That's half the battle. You got to show up. You have to show up. And again, Greg, he's a good person to follow. Make sure that you are following him. Please call him. He'll take a meeting with you. He'll want to learn about your small business. He will want to figure out how he can plug you into the city. Same thing that Alfreda does. And this is how to contact us. That's our office. That's our website. And actually, I'm excited. Our website relaunches on Friday. I'm super stoked about that. That's my direct email, Sonia@PINCOM Group. I will respond. I don't have any kind of like media, somebody, or it's me. So the posts are me. It's me. So if you need to reach out to me, absolutely you can. And I don't put my cell number on here because some people maybe don't align with who I am or my personality or my energy, and that's okay. But if you want it or you feel like you want to connect with me, come and ask me. I'm not above it. I'll give you my cell. We'll sit down. We'll figure it out together. That's all I got. I thought you were going to hug me.
You got your bodyguard over there, guys. Listen, you see a powerhouse right there? That's a daggone powerhouse. And I will stand on this with 2 feet. Flow's networking. No. I will stand on this with 2 feet. Flow networking events will be the best events in the daggum city. And I stand on that because I found good people. She kind of talked about it. You know, there's a lot of organizations in Jacksonville, whether they be government organizations and fun stuff, where there's all these fancy titles, right? I don't have a fancy title. I am you guys get to know me, I'm not for everybody. Would you agree? I ain't for everybody. But one thing that I am for is I will say hello to everybody. I will say hello to everybody, whether you got bad energy, stuck up looking face, restless, blessed face, I don't care what it is. I'm going to say hello to you because you might just have a bad day. Anybody here had a bad day and just like, yes. See, am I having a bad day? Technology over here, Doug. I don't know what the heck's happening over here. What? Is it not working? What's it doing? Start slide. Let's. I don't know what that is either. Guess what? My next event, I will hire someone to daggum do this. Is that working? Reggie, you know how to do this? I don't know what I'm doing over here. Anyways, while they're figuring that out, what I was saying is there's a lot of organizations in the city, right? Whether it be such and such commerce, such and such, this skin color commerce, or any of these organizations. I've gone into these rooms that I've never felt like they were accomplishing anything. And this is no knock to the city. There's no knock to any of those events or organizations, but I see them as photo ops. 2 years ago, when I got the vision of doing this, I went to an event called Eric Thomas. Anybody here ever heard of E.T., the hip hop preacher? I went to an event, my buddy Reggie and he says, hey, listen, I love E.T. He loves E.T. Guess what? I want to treat my teammates to go to events. I started out by planting a seed. He said, hey, listen, I want to go to this event. Tickets were like $350 to go to this event. I said, bet, our business is doing well, bought tickets right then and there. Didn't even think twice about it, right? I go to the events, and I couldn't get no further in the back of the room. You think you spend $350, you're going to be front seat, right? No. You couldn't get no further in the back. But they had this song playing, you know that song All the Way Turned Up? They just had this crowd vibing and moving. And I ain't got the best rhythm, so don't judge me on that aspect, right? But I turned to the left, and I heard this message that says, get in the room. Get in the room. I didn't hear it from the stage. I didn't hear it from any of this stuff. I just heard it in my head. I said, all right, I'm going to come back to Jacksonville, and I'm going to build a room of like-minded individuals, like-minded entrepreneurs. And 2 years ago, I said, I'm just going to call all my friends up that are business owners. And let's see, is that going to work? Either way, can someone just stand back there and press click? So I went to this event, come back, and I said, I'm going to start hosting networking events. And I would host it at my financial services company's office. And people would walk into the office, and they would see the name of the company, and they said, I don't, because some people think they prejudge my company, and I'll say, I'm going to leave. I said, that's one person that's not meant for me. If you're going to judge me based off of what you think my company does, you're not part of my circle. And I would invite them, and I would call, and I would leave voicemails, and I would text people, and I would have people register and say that I'm going to show up. And guess what? Most of them didn't show. But I accounted for that. My expectation is I invite 50, 25 will show up. That's the power of saying hello to everybody. If you have a big enough contact list of a bunch of people in your business, doesn't matter who you invite. The right people will show up. Would you agree on that? Yes. So I always like to say you're one hello away. You're one hello away from meeting your spouse. I was accidentally going to say your next spouse. That just didn't want to put that out there, right? See, you're one hello away from meeting your next business partner. Business partners are great. I have a lot of business partners, but we might not make any financial decisions together just yet. See, Sonia and I are not in business financially just yet. We will be, though. It's just the right opportunities that got to come together. See, you're one hello away from meeting your next big client. Think of it like this. If you could get paid $10,000 from one client in 30 days, are you ready for that? Mentally prepared, hey, I'd be excited to get a $10,000 check, right? You need to level the expectations of what you're looking for when you come to these events, right? See, you're one hello away from meeting your next faithful employee, your next faithful person. Because you could recruit or hire someone just for a paycheck. Now, I'm looking for someone, hey, you're here for the tribe, you're here to ride with us, let's go build this thing together, right? See, Chris, you're one hello away from your next referral. Everyone in this room is a referral partner for me. I'm one for you. Why? Because I want to see you succeed. Does that mean you're going to buy from me? No. Do I care if you buy from me? No. Because I don't need your money. I don't need your business. I want the relationship because that turns into more. See, you're one hello away from changing the direction of your life. Think about it if you met Alfreda and she says, yo, I got this contract such and such and such and such. And then all of a sudden now you're making $10,000 a month from one contract. I've got stories of getting in the room with individuals like this. I always say get in the room. If you guys see on here on the right side, you'll see tons of successful entrepreneurs. If you guys see up here, Ed Milet, my coach over there introduced me to Ed Milet a couple of months ago at a UFC fight. Over here is Patrick Bet-David, met him at a UFC fight. Damon John, met him at a book signing. Neo, met him because I daggum was destined to meet Neo, if you guys know me, right? Earn Your Leisure, at an event. Eric Thomas, at an event. You can't get wealthy sitting at home on Zoom. Get in the room with the right people, though. See, you're one introduction away from getting in the room to have a what type of leap? Quantum leap. Because you don't want to just do jumping by adding. We want multiplication in here, right? See, making a right introduction and bringing value to those in the room can lead to bigger opportunities. You already met Sonia. You heard from Chance. You haven't even met Alfreda yet. You haven't even talked to Jessica Martinez yet. You're one introduction away. But it's what you do with that contact and what changes. See, be intentional when you get in the room with like-minded individuals. I guarantee each of us, if you've personally met me, we met randomly. Focus on asking questions that serve the person you're talking to and be genuine. I go to too many networking events where it's a real estate agent, it's an insurance agent. Hey, here's my card. You looking to buy or sell? Hey, you looking to want some insurance? Good luck. Get out of here with that because they're looking at you as a transaction. See, keep conversations short and listen more than you talk. I know this is elementary, but guess what? We're going to teach you the basics going into 2024. Your life's going to change. See, ask questions such as, what's your next project you're working on and how can I help you? I'll share a story with you. You guys see this guy up here, Neo? The reason I'm in the financial services field is at 15 years old, I started writing R&B songs. my first love. I'm writing some songs for her. I'm like, okay, we gonna get some nookie. I ain't at that point yet, but we gonna work our way there, right? And the mentality was, I heard the song So Sick. Dived in deep into Neo's story. Wrote the song in 6 minutes. I said, you could make money from writing this? I'm in love. I can write some songs. And I followed that dream all the way to 20. And I needed to make some extra money for studio time. This 2010 when studio time is daggum expensive. I meet a young guy that works at the hotel with me. He says, hey, do you keep your options open for making more money? He introduced me to one of my mentors, Asley. I made enough money to where I was able to quit my job after 3 years. I didn't pursue music like I was because I found an industry that I was excited about, I was passionate about. But guess what? I made enough money that I said, the moment Neo comes anywhere in the circumference of Jacksonville, I'm going. I saw Atlanta, Tampa, and then boom, right there, Jacksonville. My kitchen table, my team's at my house. Their tickets on sale. My babe, tickets are $800. Bet, let's just buy it. Because I got to get there. I got the closest ticket I could get. But what I realized is it wasn't the meet and greet. I'm like, they didn't offer it. And then I found meet and greet tickets for sale. I'm like, dang it, man. I wish I could just sell my tickets and buy those. Didn't happen. But what was the one thing I kept telling everyone was going to happen, guys? Within 5 minutes of walking in the room, I walk into the Everbank, or no, the little Daily Dash spot. I said, hey, where do the VIP people go? And they said, are you here for the meet and greet? I'm like, duh. Guy's like, hey, let me see your stuff. I had already photoshopped fake tickets, by the way, just. I'm saved, righteous, ratchet, depending on what day it is. I was destined, I was focused. I was committed. But I did not have to do it. The guy looked at my stuff, I had favor over me that day, and within 5 minutes we're walking in back to Neo. And I'm talking to my girl, I'm like, I'm not gonna fanboy. But anyways, I'm telling Neo about the dream board, all that stuff. And the last thing I asked him was, what can I help you with? He says, what do you do? Financial services. He's like, I might need you. His bodyguard overhears me though. His bodyguard says, hey, I do this, this, and this. Can you help me out with that? I'm like, yeah. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And if you watch this video, I did at the time. But guess what? I was committed. I got his number. He says, listen, call me after the show, bring you back to hang out with Neo, and we'll go from there. And this is where I got to hang out with Neo. I'm submitting, actually working on submitting some of my music to him now, which is a big deal. But let me just share something with you. Jessica, you were on the call with me. What did his security guard tell me?
Whatever event you want to go, whenever Neo is around UFC, he can get you in.
Just get me in the room and I'm going to work it. What does that mean? Just get in the room. All right, guys. I share that with you because financially and economically, we're in contraction mode. That doesn't mean you have to be in contraction mode. You have to burst out of that bull crap, turn off the news like he said, control what happens here, and then get in alignment with people that are going in the same direction as you. I say build a God economy. I can't control what happens on Main Street. I can what happens on my street. Right. I can't what controls what happens in the White House. I control what happens in my house. Yeah. I don't care what any president's doing, whether they can talk or they're saying some dumbass stuff. Right. I care about, what am I telling myself? What am I telling the people around me, right? See, build an economy around you of like-minded people that they can pour into each other financially and relationships. You have to spend money among the people you're with. The only rated R word you need to focus on is relationships, not recession. See, this word is contact and contract. The only missing letter is R, right? The R stands for relationship. You want more contracts, build more contacts. Find people who are in alignment with your visions and find ways to share their stories to impact others. You need to be the biggest mouthpiece for your friends' businesses. If you're not talking about your friends' businesses, what are you doing? Come on. See, build loyalty with a circle of people who build each other. Collaboration over what? You guys heard this quote over here? Jessica Vasquez, I've gotten that from her, and I had to give her credit. Because by Les Brown says I give you credit 3 times, then that's mine. No, that's the first time you heard it. And guys, listen, as I am going to wrap up my portion here, I want to share something with you. Each person in this room all started off as a relationship. Whether it be Chance and I, and I'm going down to Orlando to hang out with him, whether it be Renard and I meeting at a networking event when he and I were both struggling in our businesses, whether it's Coach Chris Patterson and I met in a barber shop during COVID, you could just tell someone's successful when they're around, right? Coach Chris Patterson is that guy. Sonia, again, she and I met. Asley, this is, you guys, he ain't had no hair. Don't let him lie to you. He ain't had no hair. Don't let him lie to you. And then Jessica. I've got one more point I want to leave with you guys. Is the importance of, I don't know what the hell just happened there. Because this is the part right here. You guys have got to get this. If someone could just press this button right there for me. Can someone handle that for me? Reggie, can you handle that for me? I want to talk to you guys while we're bringing this up. The importance of planting seeds and letting them grow. You want to meet someone today and them to become your client tomorrow. Does that happen? No. Yes, it does, with the expectation of it. But not everyone's going to happen right away. I want to share a story with you that's very important on follow-up. You can just move this piece right here. The piece of follow-up is I met Chance randomly inside of we met each other in Orlando by random. He took me to an Eric Thomas event, and was where I met Eric Thomas. Coach Chris Patterson is the one that introduced me to Ed Milet. Do you understand that these guys are big, right? Get in the room with people who have access to other people. That one guy's going to get me back in the room with Neo some more. We're going to get back into the studio, right? Can you go back to that? Come on. Come on. Bro, you're messing up the slide, bro. Come on. Just, here, back out of here. Here, watch out. Just press the next thing. Just move that out of the way. That's what I was trying to do. Anyways, I'll give you the bullet points of this. This right here is a message of someone I was planting a seed with. Can you just enlarge this?
Yeah, I was going to say
Just maximize this, Reggie. And we'll make sure that this thing is fixed next time. Can you guys see the date on this? No. It's October 27, 2012. I'm going to go back 11 years of follow-up. I met this person. She says, hey, it was great meeting you, running into you. I'm interested in what you mentioned to me at Panera. The next conversation, I said, awesome, I'll call you tomorrow. May 14th of 2013. Never got with the person. Hey, how are you? Hey, I called September of 13. Hey, I called you a few times. Give me a call when you get the chance. She finally gets back to me on October 29th. October 29th, 2013. Hey, how are you? And guess what? Then they hit me up with a bunch of stuff asking for a ride. And that ever happened to you? You reach out to somebody, and then they don't get back to you right away, and then they call you asking for something? How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? Go on to the next slide. This one right here. This next slide. I said, send me the address. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I take the person, take them to work. Now, that was November 7th. You're welcome. I'm here for you. November 2017. I get carjacked on my way to jury duty, and I lean on God at this very tough time in my life. But I said, hey, listen, I'm going to start. God gave me the message, stand still. I lost everything financially. I lost everything. You guys remember this? I did not get rocked. Internally, I was like, what the hell's going to happen here? But we just got focused. I reached out to this person, November 25th of 13. Hey, how are you? I'm doing great. She says, what are you up to? I said, I have a few appointments. What about you? Then, March of 2014, she wants to, I have to send her another message. December 14, 2014, send her my number. April 28th of 2015. And you guys see all this? What happens on Facebook when you see this? They ain't responding. Is this me talking to somebody in the inbox? They're just not reading my messages? Go to the next slide. That was Jade. That was my partner now. Be fruitful and multiply. Yeah. No. I share that with you because follow-up's important. And as I'm wrapping up my portion, guys, I want you guys don't lose the seriousness here. You guys are seeing. I started from 20 years old, face full of acne, couldn't look you in your eye. 13 years later, this is still a journey. A year from now, we will have a bigger conference than this. Will you be there? Will you be the same person you are? Will you have people there with you? But how big's your bankroll going to be? How big's your contact list going to be? Because leaving here taking notes means nothing unless you do something with it. That's right. We're not here just to motivate rah-rah. We're here to equip you, educate you. And the person that changed my life was a year and a half ago. You guys saw the photo of Chris Patterson and I. He and I met inside of a barbershop. He was getting his hair cut up. And he and I met, and we add each other on social media. He had some people that I'm like, you know so-and-so? That's cool. I want to know so-and-so. But we just followed each other. Never asked him for a thing. Never asked him for a thing. Because I just wanted to see if we could grow something organically. And what happened was, I met up on a Zoom meeting June or May of 2022, and he changed my life. And I want you guys, he's going to be our keynote speaker, one of the most dynamic speakers you'll ever meet. Shares the same stages with the Ed Milet's, the Grant Cardones. You guys see this guy on YouTube? You see him all over social media? He's done incredible, built multiple businesses, successful businesses. He's going to be our next speaker. As I fix technology, let's take a 5-minute break. Give yourself some time to do what you got to go do. But let's come back here in 5 minutes, and we're going to be giving up to our coach, Chris Patterson, guys, okay? These things cost effective. We appreciate the Underground for hosting us. We appreciate all of our photographers and videographers that are here. We prefer wherever Chef Glenn is, wherever he went. Amazing food, right? Yes. We collaborated with each other because we want to put on great events. Coach Chris Patterson has been in this field for the field of coaching for a number of years. He's coached a lot of big name celebrities, a lot of big success. But I joined his program about a year and a half ago. There's a lot of his students actually in the room here that have taken away from Chris. Chris is I want you guys to give him your full attention, full respect, and make sure you're taking notes as we bring up the amazing speaker, Coach Chris Patterson, guys. I don't mean to put 2 mics on you, but we have 2 audios.
What am I, Christmas tree?
Yes.
How's everybody doing? Oh, come on now. We could do better than that. Let's light this place up. How's everybody feeling? All right, we got the neighbors' attention now. So I am so excited and honored to be here with all of you right now. I was actually going to start off by telling you guys a hilarious joke that would just blow your hair off, but I see a lot of these bald-headed men already heard it. I figured that was the theme of the day. Don't kill me, David. That's a big man over there. I don't need all that now. All right, so go back. Yes. Don't you guys love technology? Hold on. You're just skipping. We got it. All right. By a show of hands, how many of you over the next 2 weeks can do something to royally screw up your life? Oh, I wasn't expecting all that. Yeah. By the end of you got this? He's motivated. He's got this. I screw it up by the end of the day. Usually when I ask this question, I get answers back like, man, I could just go run my car into a wall, or I could go rob a bank, or the worst of all, I could cheat on my wife. Now, I know. I'm married 23 years. That's how you screw up your life quick, right there. Now, let me ask you guys a different question. How many of you over the next 2 weeks can do something to dramatically improve your life? Can I see a show of hands? All right. So what you guys just admitted to me is that you, yes, you, have complete control over the results that you have in your life. How many testimonials have you heard today of people that were down and out, people that were on welfare, people that were the underdog? How many of you have been underdogs in your life? See, what I'm here to talk to you guys about today is being the top dog. My son corrected me the other day. He said, "No, Dad, it's not dog, it's dog." D-A-W-G. Make sure that you spell it correctly. So, have you ever wondered how you can focus your energy and gain more clarity? Have you ever wondered how you can create more time freedom? Have you ever wondered how you could live to your full potential? And have you ever wondered how you can virtually eliminate your worry and stress? I know I've wondered that, and I've been on a mission to change it. By a show of hands, how many of you would like me to share how you can transform your days and win your weeks? How you can quickly make more money? How you can win big and build the dream life? Who has a dream in here? All around the room, we have a dream. So in a moment, you're going to discover how to prepare to reach new heights personally and professionally, how to plan to win, how to prepare to win, and then ultimately how to expect to win. I also want to show you how you can be completely in control of your results. It's not perfect, but you can be in control of your results. Ooh, that's a good part. All right. Jot this down, guys. 904-867-2842. I'm going to repeat that for the people on the sides. 904-867-2842. This is a guidebook, and I'm going to give this to you guys for free through PDF. We're going to email this to everybody that sends a text message to this number. All you need to put in there is your name and your email address, and we'll handle the rest. This is your ticket to freedom. This was my ticket to freedom. I used this information almost 30 years ago to dramatically, completely change the trajectory of my life. So this is an important guidebook. I highly recommend that you send that text when you get a chance. Everybody got that number? No. 904-867-2842. My promise to you guys by the end of today's message is you're going to understand more than ever how to set and actually achieve the goals that you want to accomplish in life. There's some problems in the world, isn't there? Yep. 2024 is going to be interesting. But how many of you refuse to participate in a recession? How many of you refuse to participate in anything negative?
I refuse.
How many of you are going to refuse, like this wonderful woman, she's refusing, I'm with her, to live in negativity? Right now, the economy is not stable. Many people fear they may lose their job and their business. People feel like they're behind in life. I talk to hundreds of people all the time, and these are the things that I hear back from them. They worry about their family's future. And this one's crazy to me. 76% of the people that I talk to say they couldn't even handle a $400 emergency. That must change. It changes for you guys today in this room. Do you believe me? Yes. Because if you believe me, what you just said is you believe in yourself. 93% of people get to retirement and have to work a second job. Not this room. Only 8% of people successfully ever achieve the goals that they set in life. That's nuts. More than 80% of individuals give up on their goals after just one setback. Perseverance, persistence, commitment, We're going to discuss these things today. 96% of the world's wealth is earned by just 1% of the people. 1%. What are these 1% doing? Is it okay if I give you guys a little bit of background of who's even yapping at you in the first place here? Can I share a little bit of my story with you? So, my name's Coach Chris Patterson. I do own 3 different companies. Interchanges at the top is a digital marketing agency. I started out of my wife's dining room 23 years ago. How do I know it was my wife's dining room? Because she kept telling me, you got to get the heck out of my dining room. Very successful in that company. We've actually generated over $1.6 billion for our clients in the last 23 years. I also have a software company called White Label Chats. If you ever see those little chat boxes that pop up on your website, we man those. I've got 160 people that work for me all over the globe. Now, the good news is I've got some very competent people running those companies for me now. I've leveled up, so I can do what I love. Guess what my passion is? Coaching. I changed my name to Coach Chris Patterson. So I've got over 10,000 hours studied in human potential and success performance, and I was mentored by absolute freaking legends. How many of you have heard of a gentleman by the name of Zig Ziglar? How many of you heard of a gentleman by the name of Bob Proctor? Now, Zig Ziglar, back in the day, I'm going to tell you a little bit more of his story in a minute, but he was the biggest thing going. You take Gary Vaynerchuk and Ed Mylett and E.T. or whoever, he was that guy times 10. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, he was the only influencer that was really maximizing your potential. I'll tell you a bit more about him in a minute. Bob Proctor. Nobody understood the human mind and how you could use the human mind to get the results that you want better than Bob Proctor. I was personally mentored by both of these individuals, not just watching YouTube videos. I spoke with them. I was speaking with these guys before there was even Zoom. I've also spent some time with some really incredible influencers. Several of these you may know. Gone golfing and hung out and interviewed Grant Cardone. Ed Mylett has become a dear, dear friend of mine. How many of you know that Ed Mylett moved to Jacksonville? Isn't that crazy? You see that home? I didn't know you could do that. You buy a home and then it just goes all throughout Jacksonville. They sent out this link. It's like, most expensive home purchased in Ponte Vedra. He bought this incredible home, but he's just become a really good friend of mine. I'm going to see him next week. Hung out with Gary Vee. There I am back in 1997 with my baby face with my hero, Zig Ziglar. Yeah, that's back when I had hair. Touche, I deserve that one. I've hung out with some incredible celebrities, become friends with them. 50 Cent, Ice Cube, my man Eugene Monroe. I'm personally one-on-one mentoring him right now for the next 12 months. He was a really popular NFL football player here in Jacksonville. My man up here, how many of you heard of a guy named Michael Chandler? He is a top 5 UFC fighter. Fun fact, when I met him 12 years ago, I said, what do you want to do with your life? He goes, I don't know. My mom and dad want me to be a wrestling coach. I said, all right, let me try again. What do you want to do with your life? Well, my brother and my sister and everybody thinks I should be a wrestling coach. And I said, look, man, this is the last time I'm asking. What do you want to do with your life? He said, I want to be rich and famous. My man, 12 years later, is rich and he's famous. We have to live our dreams, not somebody else's. I even tell my kids, you live your dream, not mine. I support your dream. I've done a lot of speaking. Obviously, I'm here, so that's what I love to do. All right. Now, that all sounds great, right? Mr. Big Shot, hanging out with the celebrities, hanging out with 50 Cent, 1.6 billion in revenue, all those kinds of things. That sounds pretty cool, right? Yeah. Can I get real with you guys? Yes. I really feel comfortable here, by the way. Like, this is family. This is my first time at a Flow event. And I walk in and I could feel the love. So I actually feel better about telling you this true story than ever. And I've only shared this a couple times publicly. Back in, well, welcome to Loserville. This is the world I was living in. All right, not Jacksonville, I was living in Loserville. I actually grew up in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And I got over the border back in 1995. But before I did that, here's a picture of me. I'm the dude in the jean jacket, also known as a Canadian tuxedo. It's as good as it gets in Canada. And these are my Animal House buddies. And actually, the house that we're standing in front of here, we partied so hard in this house that when we sold it, or when we were done renting it, the people who owned it actually wiped it out and turned it into a parking lot. 1031 Lillian, because I drove back, I'm like, where's the house? There was all these people parking there. I was like, what the heck's going on? We destroyed this place. And I'm a little embarrassed to admit that. But, you know, as fancy as my life sounds now, it couldn't have been more polar opposite than it was then. See, this guy, who I don't really even recognize anymore, I've become a different person. But this person back in the day, sex, drugs, rock and roll, bad attitude, pissing off people, I was a jerk. I was just a horrible human being, honestly. I had a girl that I'd fell in love with, and I thought, this is going to be my wife. Now, one of the things that was really appealing is her parents were wealthy. So I'm like, man, I get a twofer here. I'm going to marry her, and I get the money. This is going to be great. So I put all my chips into this thing, right? But I was still partying. I was still doing all kinds of stuff I shouldn't have been doing. I got into drugs and alcohol, and I was living my worst life, thinking I was getting away with stuff. And then she left me for very good reasons. She deserved to leave me. I did not deserve to have her in my life. And that was the beginning of a spiral that lasted almost 12 months. I started drinking heavily. My mind went to a place I did not know existed. I became the most depressed human being on planet Earth in my own mind. I would get envious and jealous when I saw somebody walking by me smiling. I was broken. After almost a year of living like this, I remember just saying, that's it, I can't do it anymore, I'm done. I decided to drink a bottle of Captain Morgan spiced rum and take a bunch of sleeping pills. And I had it purchased, it was sitting on my bedstand, and I was going to do it. I said, before I do this, though, I'm going to go say goodbye to one person, and that was my father. It was a very cold night in Canada. It was Christmas time. I remember driving my car to his house, and I showed up, and beautiful, this nice little ranch home in Canada, all lit up with beautiful Christmas ornaments and the lights and everything else. And he opened the door, and he looked at me, and he got this big smile on his face. And as always, he gave me this big, huge bear hug. He said, hi, son. Oh, gosh, it was so warm. And then I could smell a home-cooked meal. I was like, oh, I'm home. And then I saw the fireplace on, and then I sat down on the couch I'd sat on hundreds of times and had conversation with my dad on it. And as beautiful as everything was in this home, there was a discrepancy because what was going on inside of me was so dark and so callous and so evil, honestly, that I just didn't know what to do. My dad sat down across from me and he said, son, you're not doing well, are you? And I said, no, Dad, I'm not. He said, son, can I say something to you? He said, I've watched you try drugs. I've watched you try drinking. I've watched you try womanizing. I've watched you try power. I've watched you try to make money. He said, when are you going to give Jesus a try?
Amen. That's it, yeah.
I looked at him and I was lost. I said, Dad, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do that. I don't understand. He said, son, it's really easy. He said, all you have to do is accept him into your heart. Say a little prayer with me, and you will be saved. So I'm sitting there going, Captain Morgan Spice rum, sleeping pills, give Jesus a chance. I'm like, I got this decision to make. I'm like, Dad, you put me in a pickle here. Like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, all right, just whatever, pray. He prayed for me that night, and I went home, and I woke up the next day, thank God. Now, this was what my room looked like back then. And I remember the phone ringing, and my dad said, son, how are you doing? I said, I'm all right, Dad. He said, listen to me. He said, I want to take you to a success seminar. Now, I was a little hungover, so what I thought he said was, I want to take you to a sex seminar. So, I said, what the hell did you say, Dad? He said, no, dummy, a success seminar, a success seminar. It's going on in Michigan. Let's go over the border. Let's do it. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I got nothing to lose. I'm looking around my room. I got beer cans stacked up over there, ashtrays everywhere, clothes, it stunk. Worst of all, I was sleeping on one of those futons. You guys remember those black futons? Yeah, they start out 1.5 feet thick, and they go down to about 2 inches, right? And then they bend like a V in the middle. Some of you still sleeping on them, I know. So I jumped in my supercar. This is a 1979 Ford Pinto. Yeah, baby. That's right. I was living large. You like that? How many of you know the special feature of a 1979 Ford Pinto? Anybody know? Anybody know? I'm going to tell you. A 1979 Ford Pinto, when you hit it from behind, it blows up. My mom sold me this car. I'm telling nobody like me. But we did end up going over to the Palace of Auburn Hills, and we were way up in the nosebleed section. We were watching all these speakers come out. And remember, I still had an attitude. You know, I'm like listening to these speakers. I'm like, oh, he ain't that good. Man, I could do better. You know, all this, just thinking all this crazy attitude stuff to myself. But then a man came out. I'll never forget. And he started marching up and down the stage. And he was looking everybody in the eye. And he was getting real intense. And he started walking back and forth. And he says, you can have everything you want in life if you will just help enough other people get what they want. I looked over at my dad and I said, Dad, who in the world is this guy? He says, son, he said, this man's name is Zig Ziglar. He said, if you don't listen to anybody else today, listen to him. He's impacted over 250 million people in his lifetime without the internet. This man traveled all over the world, hit almost every country. He wrote 33 books, tens of millions of CDs, tapes, and downloads. So I listened. And the more he talked, the more invested I became. And finally, near the end of the speech, I said, Dad, he's selling these cassette tapes. Well, some of you young people don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know how good you have it with all your digital crap. We used to have to take our baby finger, stick it in that thing. Yeah, look at them all. I can tell your age right now. Everybody going like this. Yeah. Right? Number 2 pencil. Yep. All right. Oh, you spoiled brats. You don't know. So I said, Dad, can you buy me his tapes? Because I had no money. My dad said, sure, son, I got you. So I started listening to these tapes like over and over and over again. Now, I want to tell you something. Up until this point, my employment history was a wreck. I was fired from 4 jobs in a row. Like really fast. Like they hired me, fired me, hired me, fired me, hired me, fired me. All 4 different companies. And I was like, I was just getting miserable. I was like, what's wrong with all these people? I couldn't possibly be the common denominator, right? So I started learning how to set goals. Remember that little guidebook I had you guys write down the number for? This is what I learned it on, okay? Completely changed my life. So I started writing down my goals, and I got so excited after a couple weeks of listening to his tapes over and over and over again. and writing down my goals. I called up my favorite aunt, my Aunt Sue. I said, Aunt Sue. By the way, she was my first therapist. I said, Aunt Sue, I got exciting news. She said, what is it? I said, meet me at the donut shop. Now, are we downtown? So, awooga. Sorry, guys, I get distracted easy. I still got that ADD in me. Anyway, so I sit down with my Aunt Sue, and she's like, you seem excited. You good? And I'm like, I'm great. So I pulled out a napkin. I said, Aunt Sue, listen to all these things I'm going to do with my life. She goes, what is it? I said, I'm going to move to America. She kind of gave me a weird look. And she goes, and then what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to get a great job. And I said, at that job, I'm going to do a great job. She said, okay. I said, I'm going to meet a woman in America. She's going to be a Christian woman. I'm going to have a few kids. I said, you know that piece of crap car I got out there? I said, I'm going to buy me something really special. I'm going to get me something that really flies. I said, I'm going to get a home near the ocean. I'm going to have a business one day, and I'm going to have a bunch of people working for me. You know what she said? She said, Chris, have you lost your marbles? I said, Aunt Sue, why would you say that? She says, because you don't have 75 cents to buy this coffee. And she was right. But something incredible happened. I actually took action. Everybody say action. Action. Everybody say action again. Action. One more time. Action. Thank you. I took action on my dream. Next thing you know, I ended up in Plano, Texas. I worked for this company called the Q Sports Club, a health club center. I was promoted within the first couple of months working there. And then a couple months after, I was promoted again. And then again. And then the CEO of the company called me up and said, man, you're getting a reputation for yourself for doing good. I said, thank you, sir. He said, how would you like to run your own set of health clubs? I want to give you 4 clubs in Plano, Texas. I went from being a rock star loser to all of a sudden winning and winning and winning and winning. What changed?
Your mindset.
Yes. You are where you are today because of what's gone into your mind. You can change where you are. You can change who you are by changing what goes into your mind. I listened to those cassettes over and over and over and over. Repetition, also known as autosuggestion. Write that down, autosuggestion, look it up. This is how we can change who we are from the inside out. So I ended up at this one of these clubs, and I had about 30 people, probably about the size of this room, and I was training them all morning, like 2-3 hours. And I was teaching them how to sell and how to meet people, and I was just using all of Ziglar's stuff. Ziglar was a master salesperson and all those things, right? So I finished after 2 hours. You know how you get tired after doing a little bit of speaking? I go sit in my office, sitting down. All of a sudden, one of my employees comes barging through the door, like almost, boom, kicks through the door. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? He said, Chris, you got to take this next guy around the club. I said, man, I just spent 2.5 hours teaching you guys how to do this. I said, why the hell am I going to do it? He said, Chris, you don't understand. He said, Zig Ziglar's here. And he needs a health club membership.
Wow.
That's like a Neo moment. So I go out there, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm nervous as heck. My heart is sunk to my stomach, and I'm freaking out. And then I remember I was like, no. Man up, Patterson. Man up. Come on, this is your job. Just do your job. Get out there and go do your dang job. So I said, all right, I'm just going to pretend I don't know this man. It worked. Mr. Ziglar, I understand. My name is Chris Patterson. Welcome to the club. And I started going through and say, what are your needs? How can I help you? What is it that you're looking for? Why are you here in the first place? Hey, let me show you around the club. And let me match all your needs with all the amenities that we have here. Boom, you need this, we got that. You need this, we got that. You need this, we got that. He was smiling. He was enjoying the tour. And finally, we went into the closing room. How many of you ever been in the dastardly closing room. You're a car dealership, and they sit you down in the room. Why is he leaving? Who's he talking to? Where's he going? So we sit down, and I decided I'm going to use one of his closes. So, so this is called the alternative choice close. Real easy. Mr. Ziegler, we've got all the amenities. You've mentioned that you love this place. That's great. We've got two options for you. You can either pay monthly for $45 a month, or you can pay in full for 3 years, and we'll give you a 15% discount, also known as the which close. Which would you prefer? Now, at that moment, Mr. Ziegler's studying what I just put in front of him. And he's looking at it, and all of a sudden he looks up through his glasses. And he's staring at me, like right dead in my eye. And he says, "Son, you know who I am, don't you?" And then I turned into a Justin Bieber fan. Wow, of course I know you are! I love you! You changed my life! I lost it. And he's over there just bent over backwards laughing. He thinks I'm just the funniest character he's ever run into. He says, "Son, you did a fine job. I know you get paid more when I pay up front. I'll just pay up front." He said, "You're going to get a good commission because you deserve it." I said, "Oh, Mr. Ziegler, you have no idea how much that means to me." I said, "Mr. Ziegler, is there anything else I can do to serve you today?" He said, "Well, I do need a personal trainer." Now, I'm not the sharpest bowling ball all the time, but the light bulb went off at this one. I said, "Mr. Ziegler, I've got an opportunity for you you can't refuse." He started giggling again. He goes, "What's that, Chris?" I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "I will work on your physical fitness 3 times a week for free if you'll spend just 1 hour a week working on my mental fitness."
That's good.
He said, "Son, I like your style." And that's how I got the great Zig Ziglar to become my mentor. Can I get a hand clap, please? You guys are so generous and awesome. I love y'all. Write this down for me. Thinking into results. While you do that, I'm going to get a sip of water. Thinking into results, write down fortune, fulfillment, fun, and freedom. My man. All right, remember those 3 words, thinking into results. We're going to talk about that in a few. I want to get into goal setting because I want to give you guys some value. I want to give you some tactical things to think about today. But I've got some statistics. Can you guys believe this? In America, 96% of people have no goals. 3% say they have goals, but they do not have them written down. And just 1% have a very specific written goal plan, and they review it consistently. Guess who the 1%ers are? You guys are sharp. You're figuring this out. So, how many of you would be interested in a high-level understanding of a 7-step goal-setting process that you cannot lose on? Anybody interested? Yes. You guys with me? Yes. You guys enjoying this? Yes. All right. First thing we must do is identify our goals. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip here because that sounds really easy, right? Oh, I just identify my goals. No. God put me here to stretch every one of you. I don't want you going after a goal. I want you going after a fantasy. I want you going after something so big that it excites you so much that you jump out of bed every morning and you cannot wait to go after your goal, after your dream. If it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not big enough. Let's go after the fantasy. Here's why. The fantasy eventually will turn into a theory. We had that young lady that was here. I don't know where she was. Sonia, I think it was. Where is she? Hi, Sonia.
I couldn't see, and I'm taking notes.
Your musical chairs. I can't find you. She had a fantasy. The only one that believed in Sonia at that moment was Sonia. Everybody else was like, no, we're not giving you money. No, we don't know who you are. But she believed in herself enough that she got her first big contract. Isn't that true? Let's shoot for the ideal. Let's shoot for the fantasy. So number 1, identify your goals. Number 2, figure out the benefits of your goals. Why do you want this? You see, a goal by itself isn't good enough. We have to know the reason why we're chasing it. I know the reason why I chase my goals. My 2 sons over there, and I got a daughter at home, and I got a beautiful wife. And interestingly enough, I was so confident after I started writing down my goals back in Canada, I knew I was going to get married. I knew I was going to have kids. And so I was already preparing myself to become the person I needed to be to accomplish my objectives. That was my why. What's your why? Why do you want the fantasy? What's it for? And there could be different reasons. The next one is overcome obstacles. In the gym business, January 1st would come around, and what's everybody do? New Year's resolution, right? Here they come. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. They come walking through the door. We're looking at our chops. Oh, we're going to make some money. Commission time. Let's go. You know, and they're all coming in. We're just signing them up one after another, one after another, one after another. And then what happens? Well, February hits, poof. It's back to the same committed people. Right? Now, what did they do that they shouldn't have done? I'm glad they made a decision to walk through the gym. But what they failed to do was observe the potential obstacles that could hold them back from success. We have to anticipate the obstacles. We have to expect the obstacles. You know, anybody that's been in business for more than a month knows that it's like a roller coaster. It's like the stock market. It's up and down. It's up and down. Well, those downs are obstacles. Plan in your mind ahead and say, you know what? All right, I'm going to the gym, but it may hurt more than I think. Maybe the diet's going to be a little more difficult than I think it is. But instead of just throwing it all away at the first obstacle, plan to break through it. Plan to get what you want out of life. Next thing, identify skills and knowledge to hit your goals. Let's not be ignorant dream chasers. Let's be educated dream chasers. Who do you need to know? What kind of books do you need to study? What kind of groups do you need to get involved? So we've got to up our skill level so that we can match the new dream. Because if we're down here, but what we want's up here, our growth personally must rise as well. Is this all making sense to you guys? Yes. You guys buying this? Yes. All right. Next thing, leverage groups and people to win faster. This is why I love Miguel. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Shh. I love Miguel because he gets it. He knows that alone we can do little, but together we can do so much. Isn't that true? Yes. Helen Keller said that a long time ago. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Find you a group. Find you a group of people that are like-minded, they're on the same mission, and they have your back in a spirit of harmony. Those are the people that we want in our lives. Forever, if you can keep them in your lives. Build those relationships. I know me and Miguel, we're going to be boys forever. I just know it. Develop an effective plan of action. This is all going to be laid out in your guidebook. There's just several steps. It makes it very, very easy. I won't spend too much time on that. And then make a firm commitment for success. How many of you know that one of the most important words in the English language is decision? You must decide, like I decided back in Canada at that donut shop. It did not matter what my Aunt Sue said. It did not matter what anyone else said, and by the way, there was a lot of naysayers. I knew the desire in my heart. And I made a decision to that desire. I refuse to be an underdog anymore. I don't want to lose anymore. I'm sick of it. I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be broke. I want to win. I want to win so big. I want to win so bad. I made a decision. Once you make a decision, nothing can stop you. How do you stop a man that won't be stopped? You can't. How many of you remember my Aunt Sue? This is fun. So about 10 years after I moved to America, I get a phone call. Hey, Chris, it's Aunt Sue. Oh my gosh, Aunt Sue, what's up? She said, listen, she said, I'm coming to Florida. Would you by any chance be willing to pick me up at the airport? I said, oh my gosh, Aunt Sue, I got so much to share, so much to tell you. And of course, I'll pick you up. So I showed up at the airport. Let's go. Let's go. I showed up in a Bentley Continental GT. And I chipped the sucker, so it was 650 horsepower. This was my first supercar. I picked her up at the airport. She walks out, give her a big hug. I love you. Give me your luggage. I barely fit it in the back of that car. Open the door. She sits down. She doesn't say a word. I'm like, she must not know what kind of car this is. So I'm just driving down the road. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'll just drive. And then I decide, you know what? I'm going to swing by the office. And I introduced her to dozens of my employees. And I owned the building that we were in. Now, I know this is at the stadium, but that was my team back in the day. She didn't say anything. And then I pulled up to my house in Atlantic Beach, minutes from the ocean, a minute from the country club. And I brought her in, and I introduced her to my family. 3 kids, a beautiful Christian wife. And all of this was because of goals. Everything got accomplished because I made a decision. Everything got accomplished because I decided to commit and work every single day towards my fantasy. Now, I remember my Aunt Sue, after I showed her all this, she said, Chris, can I talk to you for a minute? I said, sure. We went out on the back patio, and she said, hey, Chris, I just want you to know I was wrong.
Wow.
She started weeping, and I hugged her, and I told her, I said, Aunt Sue, I said, you were not wrong. I said, you were trying to protect me. I said, but there's something you couldn't see in me that I saw in myself. You couldn't see the desire that was welling up in my heart. You couldn't see how badly I wanted this fantasy. You couldn't see what I was willing to do to make this come true. It was a beautiful moment. All right, coming in for a landing. You guys still with me? Yes. We good? Yes. All right. I want to give you guys a bonus. Look at this handsome guy right here. All cheesy face up there, right? Oh man, I love my community. So as you guys know, I'm a coach. I do a group coaching program on Tuesday nights. It's a very exciting program. It's called Thinking into Results. And what I do is I teach people, average people, quote unquote normal people, how to think, act, and behave like the top 1%. There is a formula, and I take people through a 6-month, very intensive program. It's intensive. It's easy if you just do it day by day by day. But it's an incredible program, and the results that I've seen. In fact, Miguel, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. The reason these people are here today is because you made a decision on my program. Absolutely. Also, my man Julio is in my program. Chance is in my program. So what I want to do is I want to invite every single one of you for free to come join me on January 9th for a free Zoom call. If you've already sent a message for the guidebook, we're going to send you out some emails so that you can jump on it and just experience it for yourself. but I would be honored if I saw everybody in here on January 9th. So if you don't have the number, it's 904-867-2842. I want to leave you guys with a story. Often people ask me, Chris, what is your coaching business all about? What is it you do? What is the results? The best way I can explain it is there's a man who works really hard every day. Blue-collar guy, and he comes home to his daughter one night. He knows his daughter loves games and puzzles. So he stopped at the convenience store and he picked her up a couple 100-piece puzzle, map of the world. He gives it to his daughter, and she's like, oh my gosh, Dad, you know how much I love puzzles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much, Dad, thank you. He said, look, it gets better. He said, I'm going to give you 90 minutes to go complete that puzzle. He said, if you can create the map of the world in 90 minutes, I'm going to give you $20. She goes, give it to me. I got this. She grabs the puzzle, she runs into her room, and all of a sudden, just 15 minutes later, little girl runs out, and she goes, Dad, it's done. He's a little puzzled himself. It's like, how could this be? He goes, there's hundreds of pieces in there. There's no way that you finished that puzzle in 15 minutes. She said, oh, Dad, come look. Walks in the room, there it was on the table, complete. He looks at her, he says, how did you do this? She said, Dad, it was so simple. She said, all I had to do was flip the thing upside down, and there was a picture of a person in there. She said, so all I had to do was make the person right, and when I flicked it back over, the person's world was right. I'm in the home building business. I want to make your life better. I want to help you. And I don't brag on what I do because I've learned it from other people. So I do have bragging rights for what they've created. The programs that we have are incredible. And I'd be honored for you guys just to experience it yourself. If you guys do what I say today, if you get into this goal, that's guidebook that I've given you, if you take your life seriously, if you start to create a fantasy and then make a commitment to go after it with reckless abandon, I will see you. And yes, I do mean each and every one of you at the top. Thank you, everybody.
I appreciate it. I don't know which one I'm grabbing.
That one.
That one? Okay, perfect. Let's give Chris another round of applause as we're wrapping this portion up. The biggest takeaway from this was this. I went to an event earlier this year. It's called Think Bold. They have a conference in April. I have no affiliation with them, but they put on great events. I encourage you that you get in the rooms with people just like this. Coach Jay and I did an event back in July, which unbelievable events. We're going to consistently put on events just like this, and we want new speakers. But we want to have you come back with some fruits. Hey, I went to this event, and this is what's happened over the last 90 days, six months, a year from now. Because if we want to change the way we live, we've got to start here. We've got to change this, right? Chris gave it best. Patricia said it best. Sonia said it great. Asley always does an amazing job. I did okay with the technology. My mom said I did okay. We all have a skill set. I encourage you that you do some networking within here. The speaking portion is done, but don't be in a hurry to leave. Find your next people that you need to connect with that I can help you with. Do you guys all have Instagram? Would you guys mind pull out your Instagram? If you're not following me, I want to give you my Instagram where you can follow me on here. Let me know when you're ready. It is not Sexy Mexy anymore. I've matured. No. It's I-A-M, so I am, and then Miguel. MIGUEL and my last name is Camargo, Camargo. And I want you to connect with me personally. If there's anything that I can do for you and the city or relationships, I am literally at Access right there. If you want my cell phone number, message me on there and I'll give it to you. If you get an automated message that says, do you know what the message is going to say? You heard Project 50. Have you heard of Project 50? I'm going to tell you about what I'm doing. I've got an incredible expansion happening in Jacksonville, and we are building a brand new agency sales team through our agency, guys. And I would be more than happy to explain it to you because we're doing something big. And I want to share with you what changes us from every other financial services company. That's because we start here with the heart, start with the right intentions. Does that make sense? So again, feel free to talk, get some more food. You don't have to be in a rush unless you got to go. And if you got to go, you got to go. All right, guys, we appreciate your time. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy.